Henny.
Welcome to Let Me Land. Today I'm joined with one of Manchester's finest, Simba.
Born and bred.
Red blood. Got Mams, got Coach Michael, and Coach Junior.
Hey, Junior the coach.
Oh, sorry. Cool. I've also got another man, but I'll introduce you when he touches the camera. So it's finally here. Arsenal versus Brentford.
It's the game.
Due to kick off. What are your thoughts, Mr. Arsenal?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really happy with what's going on with Arsenal right now.
We're gonna ask you about the game. Don't worry about
We'll be all day. The game. We have enough to win.
Yeah.
We have enough to win.
Is that Brentford? You feel comfortable?
Brentford ain't no mugs. They got that big man up top, Ivan Toney.
Big. He's big.
He's strong. He's powerful. He will hold his own. He will put himself about. And Arsenal's always been known for having flimsy backlines. So
Ben White debut. You think he's got him?
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't really seen much of Ben White. You know, I ain't seen much of him. Remember, I ain't been. So this season I'm gonna be playing coming closely.
I've seen a bit.
He can play.
No. When I saw him, Rashford was
making him.
Hey, that 15-second video, yeah.
I ain't seen much of him. So, but like I said, the squad, man for man, we got enough to win. And my prediction, I'm gonna say 2-1 Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah, fair enough.
2-1 Arsenal. So yeah, man, that's it.
You know what? Yeah, let's forget all that. I'm only talking about the grand scheme of things because technically the ball hasn't been kicked yet. I want to hear your opinions or what you feel will happen in the end. So let's start off with the top four. Or should we do top six? Should we give Arsenal a chance to be involved?
Man.
Yeah, let's do top six. even then, they still might not make it. But
still might respect it, you know.
Man, I'm gonna come to you first. What are your thoughts? Let's be inclusive.
Top six. I think Man United are going for the league this year. I actually think Man United might win the league. Man City second. Say Chelsea third. Fourth. It's a tough one. Maybe West Ham.
Wow. Fourth West Ham.
I don't know because I just think that they can obviously improve on last year, more steady. Tottenham, new manager. I just don't know. Fifth, give it to Arsenal. I don't know. I give it to Arsenal.
Big improvement, you know.
His heart is just.
No, I give it to Arsenal.
Mike.
Why do you forget? I keep leaving at Liverpool.
Yeah, so I forgot Liverpool.
I mean, it's easy to do.
No, sorry. Thought I'd say Liverpool. Sorry, I forgot Liverpool completely. Yeah, thought I'd say Liverpool.
No, I'm joking. I mean, Liverpool.
No, Tottenham fifth. I'd say Arsenal. Arsenal top six. Yeah.
Fair play. I mean, personally, touching on Arsenal, if they don't capitalise with this lack of European football, there's a big problem. There's a massive problem. You've got one game a week, all week to train, all week to do your research on one opponent. It's not your mind's on Europa, travelling to Greece, Russia. You're just staying in England.
Fresh leg is over.
Staying in your training ground and travelling as and when you need to travel. Arsenal need to capitalise.
I don't think they will. I've said this before. I feel like we have this mindset that because the team's not in Europe, that they should do better. But I think the flip side weighs more than that. You have to understand that players go to teams based on European football. Because Arsenal are not in Champions League, they cannot attract a certain caliber of player. Their best player that they got this in offseason was Ben White. You know what I'm saying? Whether you think Ben White's a Champions League centre back or not, we can debate. But that's because they don't have Champions League. Secondly, when you have players that are of a Champions League quality, they normally come with a certain mindset. What has Arsenal's weakness been for the last decade? Mindset. So I disagree with that.
Fair play.
There's many teams who have not had Europe and done nothing because they've not attracted a certain caliber of player they want, and the mindset of those players have not been there.
But to counter that though, they already do have a base of players that are already European caliber, i.e. the Aubameyangs, i.e. Thomas Partey, i.e. Lacazette. Yeah, Xhaka, to be fair, if he wanted to move, he would move to a Champions League club, or at least Europa. He's not, despite his image in the media, he's a good player.
Yeah.
So they've still got that foundation.
Which is true. However, I still like look at Champions League teams. The 4 teams that was mentioned now, they all three of them, bar maybe Liverpool, have got good backup players. And why have they decided to go to be backup players in these teams? They play Champions League football. So they've got players of similar quality, maybe a little less, that can come in and do a job. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I'd say is that Arsenal do have a considerable amount of talent coming up through their youth though. Their Sakas, their Willocks, their Emil Smith-Rowes. Not bad.
Which is true. I think Smith-Rowe is going to have a very big season. I think he might have a better season than Saka this season. He's been given the number 10. He's been given full responsibility to do playmaker duties. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't want to compare him to Saka, but I think he's going to have a big season.
Oh yeah, big impact.
However, and this thought process that because they're not in Europe, it's going to be better for them, I don't buy it.
I think as the manager, I think I agree to a degree what you said. I think the top 2 clubs I would say that you can't use their excuses probably City and Liverpool. So I think both managers there have got a way of playing philosophy, if you would. Whereas even though I do agree with you, our squad, Man United today is better than yours. Would I really say our backup can do a job better than Arsenal's first 11? I don't know. Tottenham? No way. So you take the top 2 out, what's Arsenal's excuse then for not getting 3rd or 4th? Because that excuse is only that Liverpool, but probably the Liverpool squad. Your squad's not big, but if you know what I mean, in that Klopp can get even your reserve players, and I think they can still do a job. I know he didn't do it last year, but I think it's doable. He can do it. He's one of the managers that can do it. But apart from those 2, I just don't think Arteta's got any excuse still.
I think you should add Chelsea to that. Especially
that's true, yeah, Chelsea to that as well. They've got a big squad.
Yeah.
Whilst you talking, what's your top 6?
I've got City winning it. I've got Chelsea 2nd. I had Liverpool 3rd and then United. However, if United get a DM, I think United finish it.
Okay.
I've got Leicester 5th and I've got Spurs 6th. I honestly do not see Arsenal doing a damn thing this season.
Arsenal.
And the reason why is not any bias against Arsenal as much as I don't necessarily like the fans. You have to take away the fact you're a fan and look at it from a proper view. Arsenal are meant to be a Champions League team that have been in Europa League for the last 2-3 years and done fuck all Europa. They've done nothing. Let's be real. If any of these top four teams were Champions League teams in Europa, they contend. United, it's a Champions League team. They went to the final this year. That's what a Champions League team went to do in Europe.
And what happened?
Relax.
Yes, they lost, but they got to the final. So that's what a Champions
Arsenal got to the final though. Arsenal's been to the final.
How many years ago was this?
So we've been to the final.
And since then, your team.
You're gonna like it was donkey years ago. It happened like 2 seasons ago or something. Hazard was there.
I agree. And guess what? Your team has regressed since then. Since then, you had 2 8 place finishes. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say regress. I say we've been stagnant in terms of position.
Where was you last year?
We finished 8th, but we had more points. We had more points on the table than we had the season before.
What position did you finish?
We finished 8th.
My point, mate.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? So
we said them what as well. I mean, the same team that we lost to just took the Champions League winners
to penalties
as well. So they're not monks.
I don't even want that to be the main focus. I want the main focus.
You took them to penalties, but you lost. On paper, I mean, our favourites to win. Your favourites to win.
Guys, I don't think Man United. What I'm trying to focus on is since then, Arsenal have regressed as a club, and finishing twice in the same position, which was 8th, is proof that Arsenal have regressed as a club. Proof in the pudding. That's proof. Like, you can't argue with the things.
Junior, where you go for us?
Alright, let me see my prediction, then I'm gonna let it land. This is the name of the podcast, isn't it? Depending if City get Kane or not. If they don't get Kane, I'm gonna put Chelsea to win it. I'm gonna put City second, depending whether they get Kane or not. Third, I'm gonna put United. You know, I'm gonna put United third. I think fourth, I'll put Liverpool. Fifth, Leicester. Sixth, I'm not gonna lie. I think Europe is actually gonna do wonders for Arsenal. I think Arsenal will get 6.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will get 6.
Carl, what are you gonna say though?
Yeah, so in regards to him saying Arsenal have regressed, yeah, we've finished in the same position that we finished the season before, which is 8th, fair enough. In terms of points, we got more points than last season than the season before. In terms of if there's a system being played and you can see something, there's the difference. There's more of a structure at Arsenal. Fair enough. The results are not showing. It's not projecting what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, from what I can see is from that from that win that we beat Chelsea in December, 3-1. Arsenal was 2nd or 3rd in terms of points on the table. I don't think that, to me, that's not regress. The only problem is we finished 8th, but what I'm saying is with Arteta never had a pre-season.
There's improvement within.
Arteta never had a pre-season. This is his first pre-season. Yeah, fair enough. Coronavirus, that's no one's fault. Everyone was affected from it. That's fair enough. Mm-hmm. When he first came in, you can see that there was a shape, there was a structure, and we won a trophy. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a good coach in him. There's a coach there. The problem is with Arsenal is the club, as everyone knows. The owners don't back him. Look at Chelsea, for example. Lukaku done the business straight, no problems.
No, I agree with that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I would even add and say I could see Arsenal challenging in the cups. The reason I don't see challenges in the league or in the top 6 because the league takes consistency. And I feel on their day, Arsenal can be a good team. Arsenal just lack consistency.
And they do lack consistency, but what I'm trying to say with Arteta, I feel like we can actually do things. If the guy is backed correctly and he's got a support system. A dude for me, donkey. The owners, donkey. Vinay, donkey. So what do you want the guy to do? If you're around shit, you're going to be shit.
Just do his job.
Mikel Arteta is a poor coach. He's a poor man. I'll tell you why he's a poor man.
The league says no.
I don't want to make this about United as my good friend Marcus said about United, and it's not about Oli. Whatever you said, this is the thing I've got with Arsenal fans, right? Why does every time someone says Arsenal's doing bad, they always have to come back to, well, this is United or this United compared to United. Forget United.
It's vice
we're talking about Arsenal right
versa.
now. Alright. So just based on what you said, my opinion is Mikel Arteta picked up his cons from Manchester, came to London, and basically thinks that he's Pep.
Reborn.
He's working with certain players, a good manager for me. You start working with these players, a good manager should have identified that the level between City and Arsenal is chalk and cheese. So this sort of philosophy that he said he's got, for me that's why Arsenal's struggling. Because he's trying to make players that are not the caliber of City players to be doing things that they're not capable of doing. And for me, this is the reason why you guys are regressing. Yes, I agree with the board because I can relate with United, but as a manager works with the tools that he's got. And Arteta right now, he's not doing the job. For me, I think the question's coming up, but I'll answer that question in terms of what manager might be sacked first next year.
We'll get there when we get there. Simba, you want to run us off?
So winning, I've got Chelsea winning it. Like, with what they already have, to then add Lukaku to that firepower, how can you not win the league? You understand? Second, I've got City. For obvious reasons. Defending champions, they're going to do their best. Third, I've got Liverpool third. Because I think last season, injuries killed them. Without injuries, probably may have even won it. So I think Liverpool third. Fourth, I've got United. As much as I don't think we're going to get fourth, I think I've got United there. Fifth, I'm going to put Arsenal fifth. Because I just think it's going to be one of those seasons for Arsenal.
Leicester?
Yeah. I think Leicester's defence, because one of the defenders is gone out, isn't he? If they don't sign a replacement, for him, it's done out.
They signed a replacement already.
Who?
From Southampton.
Who?
Vestergaard.
They got Vestergaard?
Well, maybe not bought, but he's on the brink of signing.
Oh, I still think Arsenal fifth. Sixth, I've got Spurs, and then that's that.
I think disrespecting Leicester.
So wait, Leicester's not even top 6?
For not
You're disrespecting Leicester.
I didn't
not
have
even.
them as well.
Not even.
Yeah.
I like Leicester, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that this season. I think Arsenal have
They've
got.
still got the same core players. It's
And I
just,
think they're sure they get
just
seen
before
that
that
they
injury.
don't fair no team.
And they still got Brendan Rodgers there. So
Yeah.
I don't see how they're not gonna do poor.
I'm very surprised.
And they've added quality. They've added them 2 guys.
Who's that?
Samari and Daka.
Yeah.
They've added quality. So
Personally, I'm very surprised.
Each of their own, I guess.
If anything, I thought Leicester are a slightly better team than last year. It's just that I feel as if to get to the next step, e.g. finish in the top 4, you need 1 or 2 like close, if not world-class players. I don't think Leicester have that. We have a bunch of good players. You know what I'm saying? So to say they're not going to get the top 6 when you mentioned Arsenal and Tottenham, you could argue that both teams are the same from last year. There's been no progress in Tottenham and Spurs. If anything, Spurs are going to sell Kane, so they're going to be a worse team. And Arsenal, their best signing was Ben White.
On Spurs linked with Martinez though. I saw that something.
I'm talking about the here now.
Link,
I
but-
can't talk about
Yeah,
the
but Kane is a left year.
which is true. Okay. But even if they keep Kane, did Leicester not finish ahead of them last season? Kane was scoring on top assist guy, and they still
Yeah,
finished
but
ahead
who
of
would
them.
have had in charge, bro? That lucky guy was so.
let me say one thing though. I don't know why people are thinking Liverpool are gonna be back like that. No one, we don't know how Van Dijk and Joe Gomez are gonna turn out. That's a long-term injury.
It's a fair point.
We don't know.
However,
People don't come back the same.
it's fair.
People don't come back the same. You don't know.
You
Van
don't.
Dijk
That's the
can.
point.
Van Dijk. What the first? He's probably not gonna start on the weekend.
You probably will.
Definitely not.
Klopp's confirmed that he's good to start.
Is he? Fair play.
What I would say
But
is
don't know if he's gonna come back the same.
the
Yeah, you're right.
The Liverpool thing is a twofold thing. It's not just that we have Gomez and Van Dijk, but even Matic, because Matic was out for quite a bit as well. You forget that. But no. It's the fact that we were playing Fabinho and Henderson in defence. And although Fabinho played really good centre back, they're both midfielders. So we didn't just lose defenders, we lost midfielders to play defence as well.
Everyone has
You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't understand. Although we lost some terrible games, especially at home, people forget last season we started fast as well. And then it came down when the injuries hit us and Klopp was stubborn with not changing stuff.
Liverpool will be back, bro.
And I just still feel like Liverpool need to sign a striker. I know they got their philosophy.
They don't
they've got
need a
their
striker.
profile,
They got
but I still feel like they need that
Salah's a
striker.
striker.
I
Salah-
think Jota's
Salah-
our number 9.
Because look, you
have
heavily
to play Jota this number 9.
because you're
Jota
Liverpool are heavily reliant on Salah, and Salah. If something happens to Salah now, Mane wasn't
Jota.
producing the goods.
Mane had a bad season last
There
year.
you go. He
But
wasn't producing the
he wasn't
goods.
that bad.
So if you got an out-and-out striker that you know he's going to deliver you goals, at least
Who would you
15
get for
goals.
them? Who would you get for them right now?
You can go-
50 goals.
Who would you get for them?
No, I didn't say
It's not that
15.
easy,
At
bro.
least 15.
15,
at least
I
15
think
in the
he
league.
gets
I
some
know.
I think Jota can get 15.
Of course he
playing
can.
number 9.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
Jota gets
not 50, not 50. I mean, that's astronomical
I think
numbers.
Jota gets 15 Prem goals this season.
If he starts regularly,
Prem goes alone.
if
I
he
think he gets
starts,
15.
but he won't start that
I
regularly.
think people forgot when Jota
That's
came
a big
last year. He
Big
started hot.
No,
Then he got
fantastic.
injured for 2-3 years.
He was
2-3 months. I'm saying.
Liverpool will get someone like Martinez or Isak.
Isak guy, he's young, man.
Why not?
That's too much
Isak.
pressure. I like him, but he's young. He's too young, bro.
I prefer Martinez.
He's a Klopp type of player, even.
I
too
think
young,
Martinez. I think Martinez.
He's too young to do
He's
anything.
too young to be.
Age is nothing but a number, big man. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
I'm gonna turn the spotlight and give it to a few players or a few pundits that couldn't be with us today. So we're gonna hand over to the lads at home.
So my top 6 for this season is Liverpool first, City second, Chelsea third, United fourth, Leicester fifth, and Villa sixth. Top scorer, I'm gonna go Mo Salah. He always does the job. Maybe Kane, depending on if he stays or goes. Champions League winners, PSG. I can't really see anyone passing them. Best performing, I was gonna say Sancho, but I'm gonna go Leon Bailey. I think he's quality. I want him to do well. Worst, I think every signing so far has been decent. Really. So the worst, I think, because it's the worst value for money, I want to go Ben White. Plus he's in a terrible Arsenal team. And the first gaffer to be sacked, I'm going to go with Steve Bruce, because Newcastle look a mess right now.
All right, lads. No, the wait wasn't long, but here we are. A beautiful season coming up, and here are my predictions for the upcoming season. First up, champions. I think we've got Man City as champions. However much I hate to say it, I think it'll be tight, but I just think their squad depth just does it. I don't see them losing too many games, not even the freak ones like they used to. I think they've got it. In second, I think Romelu Lukaku bridges the gap for Chelsea, but I think it'll be tight. No, I don't know, we might have one of those tough games where we just don't get over the line, but it'll be very tight. In third, I got Liverpool. They've got some big players coming back, and if they can get the likes of Mane firing, then they're going to be flying as well. But maybe just not enough over Chelsea and City. In fourth, I've got Man United. Good squad, some good signings, but I don't think the manager's got it. Not over the 38 games. We saw them a few times scraping. Whether the extra talent will avoid that, but we'll see. In fifth, I got Leicester. I like Brendan Rodgers a lot. I like their squad, excellent squad. But I think they've had some big injuries, like Fofana, etc. And I'm not sure if Jamie Vardy's still got it in the tank as like lethal striker to propel them for a title race or for a major top four finish. In sixth, I think Villa. I think Villa are going to nick it. I've really been impressed with their recruiting over the summer. I think Buendia and Bailey are great signings, and they've still got great goalkeeper, solid defence, decent midfielder, and Danny Ings is going to fire goals, and even Watkins when he's back. The rotation there is excellent. Premier League top goal scorer, I think it's going to be Romelu Lukaku. You know, if he gets into half of the positions that Werner had last season, the guy's going to be on 30 goals given just that. I mean, the chances are going to be there, and he's going to be sweeping them up. Champions League winners, I think it's going to be Chelsea again. I think we're solid at the back. We're now going to be lethal in attack. Perfect for a competition like the Champions League. Just going to dominate. Flop of the season, I think it'll be Ibrahima Konate at Liverpool. I think 36 odd million is a lot for a bench player at best. He's not going to replace Joe Gomez and Van Dijk, you know, unless they move to a 3. But I don't see it happening. And I know Matip was kind of popular, so we'll see about that. But I don't think we're going to see enough of him to be a good signing. And then first manager to be sacked, I think it'll be Watford's Isco. Their hire and fire system is almost as probably more brutal than ours, but hopefully at the end for us. But I don't think that Watford squad's good enough, and you know, there's just Sam Allardyce on the end of the phone just for the desperation of some of these owners, you know. So I can see him going in the early doors. Cheers, lads. All the best.
So my top 6 prediction for the Premier League season, the upcoming Premier League season, I'd say is probably, I'd put Chelsea as number 1, unfortunately. They'll probably be champions, Chelsea. Then Man City in second place. Then Liverpool. Then Man U. Then Leicester. Then I'm tied between Everton and Arsenal for 6th place. But yeah, I'll probably say Everton. Top goal scorer for this season, I think probably Lukaku. Yeah, Lukaku. And for Champions League winners, definitely PSG. Especially with Messi in that, definitely PSG. I'd probably say the best performing signing this upcoming season will probably be Jack Grealish at Man City. Yeah, I think it'll create better chances. I'd say the worst performing signing this season, upcoming season, I'd probably, when you say worst, I don't really mean like they're bad in it. They're not bad players. I'm just saying that compared to the caliber of players that have been signed, they were good. I'd probably say tied in between Ben White and Sancho. I'd probably have to go with Sancho, man. I think the hype around him in it is too much in it. He can't handle that. And the first manager to get sacked, hopefully Arteta.
So my predictions for the upcoming season are for Man City to win the league again. There was a game last season where they beat Chelsea at the Bridge 3-1, and ever since then they've just been relentless and they haven't looked back, and I just feel like they're just going to continue that momentum onto this season. I feel the sign of Jack Grealish is massive. There's not many big personalities in that City squad, and I feel he's a great addition in terms of personality. He's not going to be overawed by the occasion, playing for a big club like Man City, wearing a number 10. I feel it's a real pin-up signing for City. The only asterisk against them is that they haven't signed a striker at the moment, but I feel like if they do sign Harry Kane, then that pretty much rubber stamps in the league title. My team in second place, I'm going to say Chelsea. I know last season they had the new manager bounce sort of thing, but I feel that it wasn't that really. Tuchel's a top manager, and with a pre-season under his belt of these players, I feel like they're going to kick on even further. And the addition of Romelu Lukaku, who had his critics, but I feel like he's coming back to this league with a big point to prove to those who still don't consider him a top striker, and I feel like him at Chelsea is the perfect marriage. Third place, I'm just going to go with Liverpool, just on the fact that they're going to have some big players back, especially Virgil, and I can't imagine their front three being as bad as they were last season, excluding Mo Salah, who still was one of the top scorers. But I feel like Mane can't do any worse, and obviously with a crowd back at Anfield, you would never expect them to pick up more points. And fourth place, I'm going to go with Man United. Yes, they've made some massive additions in the summer with the signings with Varane and Sancho, but just feel that there's still a soft side to them, especially in that centre of midfield, and also in goal. I feel like you can't go into the season not knowing who your number one is, and I still feel that that position's up for grabs, and that's not a good sign. And they haven't addressed the CDM position. That Mac-Fred conundrum is going to come up again, and also the Paul Pogba conundrum that just continues to ramble on. So I just feel that there's still problems at United. For me, 5th and 6th was really a toss-up between quite a few clubs, but I'm going to go with Tottenham for 5th, especially if Harry Kane stays. I like Nuno as a manager. I think he's a really good manager, and if he's backed, which it looks like he has been so far with the signings he's made, I feel like they'll do well this season. And 6th, I'm going to go with Leicester, just shading Arsenal. But Leicester are in Europa League, so it depends on how that affects them. They ain't got the biggest squad, but I'll just go with them. For me, Premier League top scorer depends on where Harry Kane's playing his trade this season. If he goes to Man City, he'll win it by a landslide. And if he stays at Tottenham, I feel like Romelu Lukaku will win it. Champions League winner, for me, easy PSG. Best signing, Romelu Lukaku. Worst signing, Ben White. First manager to get sacked, I want to say the Watford manager, I think his name's Cisco. Watford have a reputation for hiring and firing managers pretty quickly, and I feel like if they start the season slowly, he'll be out the door very quickly.
Interesting predictions from the boys at home. That's funny. That's class. I've now brought a guy joining us from the land of Burundi. Kaiser, tell us, who are your top 6?
My bad. Sorry. Top 6. I'll be honest. I'm leading with my guy Mamsi. I think this year we're going to push for the title. I think we have the personnel to do it. I don't think there's an excuse not to do it. I think the motivation is there, from what I've seen. So, being a close call, I'll say United first.
Okay.
Then I'll say current teams, right?
Yeah, current teams. I mean,
current teams, I'll say
Kane might go, he might not, but you know what? All we can talk about is
current teams.
team.
I'll say Chelsea 2nd,
Mm-hmm.
City 3rd, Liverpool 4th. To be honest, I think that top 4 ended up some variations, but I think that top 4 for me is set.
You're sounding like Michael Owen. Of course, there's gonna be some variations.
No, what I'm saying is that for me, the top 4.
It's gonna be from those
Yeah,
things.
I know. But I mean, you wouldn't make enough. You won't make much money if you take that to win the mill. But anyway.
5th, I think 5th and 6th is going to be Leicester, Aston Villa. I don't know which order, but one of those two.
Fair play. I mean, the project at Villa is
Villa
a serious
have
project.
fought really well
They
this
fought
summer,
very well.
and somehow it's gone under the radar.
I like the signing they got ahead of Arsenal. Attacking mid.
You know, Bailey?
No.
Oh, Buendia.
Buendia.
I can't believe
Arsenal slept. Both of them. I was
Arsenal
thinking.
slept and Villa got him.
If I'm being honest, I don't think Arsenal were onto him like that.
That's ridiculous.
I think it's just rumours,
Oh,
speculation, but I don't think they were really. They've always wanted Odegaard. To this day, they still want Odegaard.
Did they get Young back as well?
Yeah, they got Ashley Young as well.
I think he'll do a job.
Ashley Young is there as
I
well.
think he's
He's
very
a
good job.
He's a leader.
Yeah.
Experience.
1-0.
Yeah, come on.
The guy.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins as well will have
Yeah.
a better season because he started well.
Who started it? Ings or Watkins?
Who?
I think you know
How
what
can I
they'll do.
forget Ings? Oh, I'm gonna have to change my thoughts. Ings for
telling you,
25
you know what they'll
minutes,
do,
guaranteed
They-
15 goals a season.
They have spent really, really
Do you know
well.
what they do? I
Yeah.
think they might play Oliver Watkins sometimes on the left.
Left wing forward.
Yeah.
Like, but
We got Leon Bailey on the other wing.
They got Bertrand Traore.
Techie. Well, that's good, and that's what Pep does. He has an abundance of selection.
Competition.
So everyone's on their toes, everyone's
Yeah.
training hard, everyone's ready, and then when you do get chosen, then you better take the chance. Otherwise, it's another 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
you go through that cycle.
the guy, he saw that Grealish saw it was going to go, and he spent that money wisely quickly. Where other clubs were sleeping. To be honest, a lot of the signings they made, Arsenal should have bought them. It just, you guys, I don't understand the philosophy behind.
Other than
Can't lie.
maybe Buendia, who else?
I agree. Ings would start
Ings-
number 9 for Arsenal.
Yeah.
The best striker. in-
Right now,
Yeah.
you're playing Lacazette up front, and what's his name on the left?
On the left.
What's
Even-
Lacazette doing? What is he ever done? The guy's job, the only thing he ever does is just, what was it, L2? That's it.
What?
I said L2. Hold up.
Protect the ball, basically.
Yeah.
That's it.
In all honesty, I'm surprised.
Who scored more goals last season, Ings or Lacazette in the
Ings.
Premier League?
Ings. I'm quite sure it's Ings.
Was it Ings?
Yeah, Ings was fun. Ings, I think the last 2-3 years has been up there.
No, season before last, Ings I think got 20. Or
Season before last. What about last season?
Last season, I don't know how many Ings got. I think he got 12.
I don't think I saw Lacazette in the top.
Yeah, 12 in the league. I think it was minimum 12. I don't. How many did Lacazette
I'd
get in
be
the league?
surprised if Lacazette is in the first
Did Lacazette to get 10?
of top goal scorers.
League? Yeah.
I don't know, I doubt it.
I don't know who he got 10.
Well, I can get it.
I'm saying.
But
And it wasn't due to a lack of chances, because Arsenal always create chances.
But that's the thing. Last year, Arsenal defensively last year was solid. Somehow they figured it out. But the cost of that is they lost attacking. They don't really create much.
Well, Smith Rowe has a very big season this year, because
Right.
he's going to be the
New number 10. So
I think they forced it with that. Just to sweeten the deal so he can sign the new contract.
Of
It
course.
was a forced move.
now he has to play.
We should have never given him number 10.
But he has to play.
Nah, he has to
That's
play.
who
That's
Arsenal
your
trust.
number 10.
He doesn't have to play.
Why?
Number 10.
That makes sense.
play.
Give him a new contract, give him number 10. And
He has to
No.
play 3-5-2.
Because they got 13 goals last. What?
He's a fan.
Yeah.
I thought so. That's what I'm saying.
Ings.
I think Ings got 12. But the season before, I know
Like
Ings
I
got
said,
like
about
18,
13.
19.
That's shocking. I'm surprised.
I'm shocked though. 13 goals. Not bad return for that.
It's not bad.
And
It's
these
not
days,
bad.
what, you win it with early 20s, don't you, these days?
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. That.
I have something I need to respond to. You said you feel United are going to win the league, and you said this too.
Yeah.
Two things. One, if United got a DM, I would understand the optimism. Not having a DM, which was a problem last year as well, not resolving that, to me, was poor transfer business. And I think it was clearly the DM last summer transfer. So you've had last summer, you've had winter, you've had this summer, and you've not dealt with it. But on the second point, how you can see that and then see what Chelsea have done, see what City have done, and think United are in a better position to win the league. How do you explain that? Because it's not one team, there's two teams with currently better squads. Lukaku is now with Chelsea, so Chelsea have a better squad than United. and City right now have a better squad than United and could still improve, how can you, without bias, say that these two teams are United was literally ahead of these two teams?
I'll be honest, with City, last year, the biggest disappointment from my league position was how many points we finished behind them. We shouldn't have. At one point, we were in a running with them and we fumbled, and it's not because of us.
We didn't fumble, Pogba got injured, but let's continue.
I don't want to create speculations and all that. So let's just use the word fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And off the back of that, we ended up much further than we should have.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that fumbling allowed you guys to make it to Champions League. Yeah.
What? How?
You beat us. You shouldn't have won that game. We should have beaten you. But so I don't think that we were as far off to see as people think. This year, they've bought Grealish. I personally don't think it's that big of an addition. It's a great buy, but I don't think it makes City a bigger threat to me.
I disagree, but continue.
I disagree as well.
Say.
As for Chelsea, I just don't trust Chelsea. I don't know. To be honest, we'll see. I'm unsure about Chelsea because Tuchel is still kind of new. I haven't really seen much in the league.
But let's look at what he's done. Not only has he transformed the team and the way they played, they've won the Champions League as well. Finished the season good. I think from when he came in, they were top 2-3 team defensively as well. And they've gone and signed a guy who we all agreed is going to be top 3 top goal scorers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you then say United will finish ahead of that?
I mean, I can chime into that. I wouldn't say it's bias. I think I thought about it more of, I'm thinking about the manager who I support. The only way I can see progress for United is winning the league now. Yeah, there's other things that he can do that you can still call pro. I mean, if we come second, do quite well in the Champions League, let's say get to semi-final or something, I suppose you can argue that that's not really bad. Chelsea, I don't really agree with you that just because they got Lukaku as an attacking threat, and it's all ifs and buts, even Lukaku. You can all say we all agree that he's going to do this, he's going to do that. What we do know about Lukaku is he doesn't score against the top 6. That's what we know, that's a fact. Has he changed from that? Because he's gone to an Italian league where, let's not forget, Ronaldo scored more than him. How old was Ronaldo? 20, 35, 36. Guy can't even run anymore. He's come back to a league where the defenders say no mucks. Is he going to be top 3? I don't even know if I agree with you on that. But just getting back on that, so let's tackle the Chelsea point. Chelsea is the attacking threat. If Man United's attack turns up, Cavani, Rashford, Martial, Pogba gets in the goals. Pogba gets in the goals. Bruno, we all know what he can deliver. As an attacking threat, are Chelsea better than us? No way. Are we saying that Lukaku changes Chelsea altogether and just because of him they're going to score more than us? I'll even say Chelsea are not going to score more goals than Man United next year.
They won't need to, that defence. That's the problem. And that's why the main point I said. Since he's come in, that he has transformed the defence. And you have seen it.
Their defence better than United? I don't know about that. Are their
back four? They have conceded less goals than United.
Are their back four better than United?
Yeah.
You can check the stats.
But then I just wanted to, if I can just touch on that, this DM thing, and I think you banged on about it a lot. Our DMs last year, unless you can remind me this, bar there maybe game Tottenham, was it? And we got battered, and you can't really blame that on them, was it? Martial got a red card early on. Yeah, we shouldn't have still got battered. I can't remember a top team we faced last year where you can turn to Fred and McTominay and say they were dominated or they looked out of depth. And everyone kept saying this sort of stuff. The reason why those two kept playing, our biggest problem, and I think we've tackled that, was more Maguire and Lindelof. That's the reason why those two were playing. If I had the decision to tackle those two areas, in terms of would I either get Varane or would I prioritize a DM, would have gone for Varane all day. Now, the problem with Fred is he a bad player? I don't know. We can say it all day. What he can't do is pick the ball up, thumb the two centre backs and then start play. However, apart from that, in terms of energy, I think he can match most DMs in the whole league.
Yeah.
He's not dead from that perspective. So you don't get to the point of, I don't know, it becomes a guess game. Varane comes, they show up that defence. Do we really need to play then Fred and McTominay? No.
So who would you play in the midfield?
Well, we're forgetting one guy here, Donny van de Beek. Again.
So what would your starting three midfield be?
For United right now,
Yeah.
Pogba, Bruno. I'll alternate between Fred and McSauce, but I'll say Fred now. I'll start with Fred.
I think it has to be Fred as well.
I'll start with Fred.
I mean, Matic, I'd love, the more, but just a little bit more mobility. His age is out.
Yeah.
And I think Matic is actually a good player.
Matic-
He's
Matic
ideal,
is-
but he's just 1200.
If Matic was even 5 years younger, it'd be perfect.
5, that's a bit too much. Even 3, I'll take. But you know what, we've gone on tangent too much. I don't want to talk about specific clubs, and since we've heard from all of you, I think it's about time you hear from me. So my top 6, to be honest, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all opinion at the moment, but it hurts me. But I'm gonna have to go against United and say Manchester City. As a realist, Man City will defend their title. I feel Chelsea will improve and leapfrog United to second. So City, Chelsea, Man United third, Liverpool fourth. I think the gap will be way smaller though. Numerically, the gaps won't be that big. So that's the top 4, 5th and 6th. I might have to sit on the fence, jump on the bandwagon and say Leicester and Villa, but Arsenal can shock the world and
Shock the world. Get sick.
honestly, I think they're not that bad. No, not get sick, but they could shock the world and just interrupt. I don't know how, but I believe honestly it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. You've heard Wenger talk about Christmas break, this players look after them, that rest, tired. You've seen it firsthand last season, especially with that system that Klopp plays. Players will burn out. Do you understand? And the fact that Arsenal won't have to go through all that, won't have to go through all those extra fixtures, and they already have the infrastructure. They already have the youth to come in that are capable of playing, the Carabao Cup games if they like. I think that'll bid them well. I think, despite how bad things seem to appear at Emirates, it's not that bad. I don't think it's going to be that bad, and they can shock us. However, they're still not in my top 6. But I'm just saying, on the fence, they're my wild card for very simple reasons. But yeah, enough of the positive stuff. Let's go to something negative now. Kaiser, who do you think the first gaffer that will get the Alan Sugar finger? Who's going to get sacked? Who's going to get fired first? that door's knocking.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because I don't think it'll be Arteta.
Okay.
I think the Arsenal board will hug him. He's not going to go this season unless they do sign bizarre. I don't know.
Or let's think of clubs. Let's think of new Premier League clubs, maybe Norwich.
Weird one.
Brentford.
Is a weird one, and this is more because of the history. But Tuchel's more likely to get sacked than Arteta.
Okay, go on.
If they don't,
Champions League, but okay, go on.
True, but who was that manager that I remember fired? Yeah, season right after.
I mean, we've seen weird things happen.
He's done. I mean, this is what I'm saying because of their track record. He does this. If he's not feeling, you're gone. So I don't think just a top 4 would be enough for Chelsea.
I think what you're saying though is you get sacked.
Sacked
early in the season. I mean, if you're talking top 4,
fair enough,
that's like
fair
later
enough.
on in the
In
year.
the top 4, I don't think anyone will get sacked this season.
Yeah, I agree.
So there will be someone outside the top 4.
Watford just
won't be
avoid.
Don't be Nuno. We want to small team. Who's the Villa man?
Villa. Oh, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Yeah, he's.
Why would he get sacked? He's on Villa in your top 6.
It's the waffle and syrup when you need it.
My goodness. Oh, he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure it out. I'll leave you.
So your question was who's likely to get sacked, right? So
No, go on.
I'm basing it based on what's happening in the summer and the risk that carries, because transfer activities always carry risk. That's just a fact. So for Villa, I think they've done really well. So I think with that comes expectations, and them finishing where they finished last season could get him sacked.
Yeah.
And it's not an impossible thing for Villa. As much as I believe that they'll progress, it's still Villa. So it's not, well,
I don't know, man.
it's of the guys that I can think of, him more than anyone else. Because Brendan, I think he's solid in his position. Nuno,
Small community shield as well.
yeah, true. He's very solid. He's probably the more secure.
Nuno's Uncle Pat. Patrick Vieira.
Oh, no, I think his first season. In fact, I think it will be interesting, to be honest.
Who was that Dutch gaffer that came? Jose. No. Jose said he's the worst manager in the history of the Premier League. The ball.
The boy, yeah, the ball.
I mean,
True. The problem with the ball was what you said. Arteta's doing.
Yes.
He was trying to do certain things that these players had. They had no idea.
Scott Dan and
So that was his problem. He's actually not a bad manager, believe it or not. If you look at his track record before Palace, you'll see he's not a bad manager. He was just trying to do stuff with players that he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I like what Patrick is doing though is implementing what I was saying earlier. He's stamping his authority from early, quick, getting all the deadwood out, bringing in young, exciting, talented
They got rid of
players.
15 players at the end of the season.
You know, you can see he's building his philosophy there. He's got Eze to come back from injury if he's not back already. So he's got all the Palace. I think Palace will be alright.
Yeah,
I think Palace will be alright. I would have said someone like Steve Bruce. I think Joe Willock saved him last season. If I'm being honest with you, Joe Willock for me was their best player. Yeah, for me he was player of the season, and he came in January.
Yeah.
And
we can say the same for Jesse Lingard.
yeah, you can for what's it called, West Ham, but I don't think Moyes is a good gaffer. I think he will do alright. I think with Steve Bruce, I don't rate him anyway. If I'm being honest with you, I don't really rate him as a gaffer. And Newcastle this close to getting relegated, and I feel it can happen. I think this season, if Ged's not taken, he can go down that road. Because who's to say Jordan's gonna have that banging season again?
Yeah.
You know.
Nuno's left Wolves.
How's it gonna go?
Gone to North London. His replacement Bruno Lage.
I don't know.
Don't
Nothing
give him
about
time.
that done, bro.
Wolves don't seem like they overreact.
He's Portuguese, right?
The type of club that
By the
react.
sound of his name, yeah, Portuguese.
I
I
think
think they'll give him time. The
I
Portuguese tie, yeah, I think they'll give him time still.
I think, well, my manager, I'm surprised no one's mentioned this, the Southampton manager's going to get sacked first. Since January 16th, Southampton have lost 15 out of 21 games. The reason why they saved from relegation because they built a very good offer before. They've lost 15 out of 21. He's lucky to still have a job right now. They've just sold their star striker, replaced him with, I forgot his first name, Armstrong from Blackburn for 15 mil.
Che Adams?
It's not Danny Ings.
I know.
And again, for you to lose 15 out of 21, you lost that with Ings.
Relegation.
That's relegation.
Yeah.
So, me personally, if you base it on the fact that, personally, I'm never a fan of teams who get promoted, sacking their managers, you promote them, but it's like you just pay from there. Your automatic thing should be go back down. If they save you in the Premier League, then it's good. But Southampton right now, based on previous seasons, how they ended last season, and what the chairman's probably going to think they should do, and how I think they're going to perform, he's going to get sacked first. Though.
Southampton playing exciting football, no?
I don't care if you use 15 out of 21.
Good brand of football. They press high.
15 out of 21.
When you're hearing
I'm
stuff
just
like
15
that,
out of 21.
it's a result-based business.
Yeah. And I know what Baz is saying though. It's a bit like Fulham, isn't it? I really liked Arsenal last year. I thought they were playing good football. They actually done well, but they didn't do well. They got relegated. But I know what Baz is saying. They were playing good football. But Southampton, I don't think they're not gonna afford that luxury. They want to stay in the league. So
Fulham got promoted last year, right?
yeah.
And they went back down.
Yeah.
So as much as they play great football, it's understandable. Southampton are now in mid-table established club. So their expectations are a lot higher. So it'll be easier for the chairman to say, okay, we need expectation, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you lose 15 out of 21, I know there's nothing
You
there's no discussion to have. I'm not going to stats guy, but if you're losing 15 out of 21, that's a fair take. Bro.
You know me and my love for beautiful football. I mean, it's more or less the first thing to be. But if your club is in that kind of state, you need to prioritize survival.
Well, how do you survive?
It's like everyone in defense.
But on the bus.
Boy, 15 matches in a row, lost.
I disagree, but okay.
21 or 15, sorry, 15 out of 21 matches lost, that's definitely relegation form. And if they carry the season after not losing their star player as well, it's looking bad. Trying to play expansive football that you can't implement is just failure waiting to happen.
Also, their star center mid, Wood Pass, he may be leaving as well. Although manager
To go where though?
Villa.
No.
Villa were looking at heavily.
If Villa take Wood Prowse, yeah.
I'm changing my top 6 by the way. I'm changing my top 6. What?
They're looking at it still.
If they do lose him, they've lost their 2 best players.
Yeah.
No, if they lose
And
it,
top of
and
Vestergaard as well.
Vestergaard. If they lose him,
He's gone as well. So yeah, I agree.
This doesn't make sense. Southampton's moves, it don't make sense. But who am I? I'm just to let me land. But yeah, okay, cool. Well, that concludes our first official show. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I want to thank the boys at home as well for their input, their predictions of the year. It wouldn't be the same without you.